we missed last week, and I think both Jet and I really missed the fact we weren't able to do this. Our Geekish Khan. I thought, Jet, that's a great name for it, mate. Well done, you. So here we are this week. What is it? Just after 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon in the Metro Manila. Jet's probably cycled about 200,000 kilometers before we're doing this live stream. But yeah, here we are. Jet, my man, how you doing? Are you well?
Doing well, doing well.
So I think today, go on, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask you because I don't know how many summers have you spent here in the Philippines. How are you dealing with the sun?
So it's funny you should mention that, right? Up until a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was lovely. I played golf with a couple of very close friends of mine, two maybe three Saturdays ago, and we teed off like 9, quarter to 10 in the morning, and it was lovely. There was a really nice breeze. It wasn't too warm, but recently I'm having to have the aircon on practically 24/7, and I think the temperature's just gone up a level or two. Right, mate, I'll be honest with you. I'm struggling with it. Right now, I'm struggling with it. There we go. All right, mate. So I think today we wanted to talk about Star Wars. Are both a hobby of yours and mine, right? And I think that's where, yes, we got to know each other when we worked at Sitel, and we had football discussions with our mutual friend, Mr. Laidler. I hope Mr. Laidler as well, and we miss you terribly. Please be in touch and join us on these live streams. That would be great to have you. But I think one of our mutual interests and one of our mutual love outside of football and everything BPO is Star Wars, right? Yeah. It's Star Wars. So before you kind of go on to your stories, there's a story that I want to share with everybody out there, just to give you a sense of the type of person that Jet is. So we're going back many years. Maybe I've lived here for nearly coming up to 10 years. So let's say 5 or 6 years. I was walking around Eastwood, and I just happened to see Jet. Jet had come in, and he was wearing this T-shirt that was a cross between Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. So it was if you can imagine the Star Wars kind of logo, and it says "One does not walk into Mordor." And I loved the T-shirt, and I just happened to mention it to him. Jet, I love your T-shirt. I didn't think anything of it. 2-3 weeks later, I get this knock on my door. There's a delivery guy there, Jet, from Jet, who's got me the T-shirt, man. And that's one of the sweetest things a fellow human has ever done for me. So thank you so much. I took that T-shirt it's traveled the world with me, but the last place I remember was in Hawaii. And I got a lot of comments about, one does not simply walk into Mordor. And yeah, so it's a great conversational starter. So yeah, wonderful, mate. That really meant a lot to me. Thank you. So let's do this. Let's talk about Star Wars. How did you first find or get into the Star Wars universe, mate? What was the trigger for you?
It was my brothers. This phenomena of Star Wars during the late 70s, and they were, I don't know, they were teenagers then, and I was just a small kid, and it was something about space and lightsabers and all. So they were so excited that they told me about it, and so it really got me. It's like, I want to see it. So finally, I was brought to the theaters. I saw it, and I was just really mesmerized. Like, wow! I wanted to be Luke. I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. And I remember after the film, I asked to go to this department store. Well, you already know SM. There was a rival then. It's called COD, and they sell the costumes there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to buy one, but since Star Wars was just out and we were in the Far East, there are no merchandise yet during that time. There were no merchandise yet, so I ended up buying a Robin costume. Not even Batman, a Robin costume.
That's a big jump to go from Luke Skywalker to Robin, mate. That's huge. So, what was it about? Yeah, you've spoken about the lightsabers and kind of it was set in another world. It was set off, in a basically a different universe. What was it that kind of attracted you to that? And then why did you choose? Because I think you can tell a lot from a person when you ask them who's your favorite character from Star Wars, right? Those people that are really into Star Wars. I think you can tell a lot of a person when they tell you who their favorite character is. So, as an example, my nephew, his favorite character is Darth Vader. It worries me what he's gonna grow up to. So what is it about? What was it about Luke that kind of appealed to you?
The being like a nobody. He was a farm boy. He was
Mm-hmm.
and he was really a nobody, and he was able to uh, be the hero. You wouldn't expect it from him, and so I was able to relate. Like I was the youngest among six kids, and
Mm-hmm.
I there were a lot of adversities, being the smallest, the youngest, and all those. So I wanted to be that person. I want to make something, make a difference. So with Luke, that really represented it. That he all of a sudden, the way the character was built, that the movie was built around the character is like uh, he became on the third film that he's already the main guy. He's already the hero. So uh, I wanted that. I wanted to be the hero. I wanted to be to surpass all adversities. So that was really, and of course the cool lightsaber fights, the duels. That really got me. That really got me. Like I would, when I was being asked to clean the room, I have this broom, and before I could even sweep anything, is I would make those lightsaber sounds first.
Shum, shum, right?
so that got me into it. Being the hero, being a nobody, that made you believe that you can achieve so many things, no matter how
I think I
small
think
you
that
are.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think the whole Luke Skywalker story arc is interesting, right? So
Mhm.
particularly when you watch Return of the Jedi. I don't know if you probably are because you're a much bigger Star Wars geek than me. But in the battle between Palpatine, Darth Vader, and Luke in kind of The Empire Strikes Back, sorry, Return of the Jedi. Luke's wearing a
Mhm.
black suit, right? And then underneath he wears white, and you only see that white when he saves his father, right? I hope everybody out there knows that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, right?
I don't think we can spoil
Otherwise,
it to anybody.
you've ruined it, right? So it's a great story. I guess it's very simplistic. Yes, it's kind of as you say, boy from nothing turns out to be a hero, but the way that the story's shared, I think is great, and the fact that they've got all these different cinematography throughout the films
Mhm.
is excellent. So yeah, so Luke Skywalker, for some reason, I thought you'd have been a Lando. I thought you'd have been a Lando guy, not a Luke. I'm Han Solo all the way,
Han
mate.
Solo.
Han Solo all the way. He's my favorite guy. So I think a lot. Well, it's wrong to say a lot. I don't know if our audience are aware. Star Wars don't just exist in films, do they? There's
Oh yeah.
other types. There's other types of media that are in, right? So, for example, there's books, there's cartoons. What else? Is there any other kind of platforms or media that they're in?
The games, the games in the consoles, it's still part of the story arc. In fact, you have to. There was a video game that I was playing before. I can't remember the name. Uh, Darth Vader was training a another under without the knowledge of Emperor Palpatine, that he was training somebody to be another Sith, because he was aiming for to be the main Sith Lord, the Sith Lord.
Yeah, you're right. I've forgotten about because EA have done a series of games
EA,
that
it's
actually
EA, yeah. Mm.
that link
Uh,
into the films, right? They're not standalone.
mhm.
There's a story that threads all the way through. Yeah, I'd forgotten about those. I tried to play. Is it Battlefield? Is it
Oh
Battlefield?
yeah,
Battlefront? Is it Battlefield or
yeah.
Battlefront? I forget.
You're right. You're
I,
right.
tr- I tried to play that one where you
Mm-hmm.
are on the side of the empire, right? Not the
Mm-hmm.
rebellion, the empire. And I'm not one of these. What do they call them? Like one player one. I'm not those. I prefer the sport game, so I really struggle with it. But it pulled me in because of the story, right? Um, yeah, man. You got to watch them. You got to. There is that story arc that goes all the way through. Are you, as a long loved Star Wars fan or fanatic, I'd go as far as to say, Jack. Are you happy with the prequels and then the sequels and then the cartoons and the books? Because the first thing that came out with the New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, those are the first ever Star Wars things, right, that came out, and then as a result, or everything else has branched off of that. Are you a fan of kind of the stuff that they've done? Do you have anything that you wish they wouldn't have done? Do you have anything you wish that you would have liked them to do, or do you see that coming in the future? What do you think, Mike?
I'll I'll start with the latest ones. The
Okay.
last trilogy. I liked it. Because probably not where there's just probably uh, maybe I'm just reading too much into the backstory of how it was created, but uh, I really loved I really loved it when it, there's already a build up on there's going to be a new trilogy, and then the first trilogy came out, and I watched it. I enjoyed it. I honestly enjoyed it. I had fun, and people tend to forget because what bothered me really was the toxic Star Wars fans. They
Mhm.
they want they want to keep hold of what was then, what was during their timeline, what during the original trilogy. They forgot that there's a new generation that needs to be introduced to this wonderful story, and I think that's the whole purpose of it. But if you actually watch it, there's a lot of reference to the original, even the
Yeah.
cinematography, the shots that it bridges the our generation and the new generation. That's going to create the next Star Wars fans, and I think they did pretty well. I like it, and also the standalone films. I really did like it. Uh,
I
for
thought I
the
thought
first,
I thought Rogue One was a great film. I loved Rogue One.
I love Rogue One. Uh, the casting, Mika Madsen, and it's the girl. Yeah, I
Felicity,
can't
right?
remember.
I can't remember her name. Felicity
Yeah,
Jones. Felicity Jones. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Felicity Jones. Yeah, she did really well. I liked it. I love the story, and it just connects. It just connects the episode 4 in Rogue One. It's
It's
at
brilliant the
the
way
end
it's
of
done, right?
at the end of the film, it gave me a huge smile. And wow, that's how it happened. That's how. So the how the death start, because I remember there's a lot of people saying there's a loophole in the story that they were able to build this Death Star that could uh, annihilate an entire world, and then it just took a one shot in the middle, uh, and it got destroyed. And that was the story. That's why there was it was intentional that there's a weak point. So it was fantastic. I loved it. I really loved it.
I
Even the
agree. I thought it.
cinematography.
Oh, cinematography, everything. They did so
Mm-hmm.
well, and I think even if you look at the sequels, but they came out after the originals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And more so, you see that in Rogue One and also Solo, is that they're set kind of well, they're set before the original trilogy. However, they're made with better technology, right? CIG and all that type of stuff. It's come on leaps and bounds. Yeah, they've been able to do it in a way that the stormtrooper outfits, for example, they're not above where they should be in terms of technology, right? Even though they could have done it and they could have thrown the form book out the window, they've tried where possible to be as genuine as they can do. So if you compare that to the X-Men films, where all of a sudden people that were dead in the previous film suddenly come back to life, you go, hang on, there's no continuity here at all. I think, at least from a Star Wars perspective, there is a lot of continuity going through, and there's always going to be some loopholes and some characters where you go, you're just the Jar Jar Binks of the story, right? Where you don't necessarily serve a purpose, but at least there's an attempt to kind of, keep that. I guess keep the soul of Star Wars true, right? And I think for me, that's one of the things that I love about it, is that you can tune in, you know what you're going to get, you know the story, and it just, for me, whenever I watch it, it just feels like it's a warm blanket giving me a hug. And of course, in times of COVID, hugs aren't as freely as available as they once were, are they? So I do have two controversial questions for you. Okay, my first controversial question is: do you not think that it's just the same story? So if you watch A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and then The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, those three, right? Do you not think it's exactly the same story, where they've created this Death Star, and all the way through it, they're just building to destroy this planet, or not the planet, but the Death Star, right? So that's my first question. My second question is, how much did J.K. Rowling rip off Star Wars for Harry Potter?
I want to answer the second one right now, because it was a rip off. It was a rip off. I swear. It's like the Harry Potter fans are coming to me. It's like, you should read this. You should read this. It's like, I got hold of the book, and it's like the first 2 chapters. It's like, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? It's like, so
an orphan who's come to live with his uncle and auntie.
Yeah, and then they said, they knew that I was into fantasy. So I said, no. So I said, look, the Lord of the Rings, Sauron was trying to take over the entire Middle Earth. All right, Star Wars, an empire, is trying to actually was successful in taking over the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Right? This guy could not even take over school.
and he's meant to be the most powerful magician, right?
Exactly. He's trying to take over school over this teenage. That time he wasn't even a teenager. Like, come on. I mean, so yes,
and you just look at it, right? So there's Harry is Luke, and then you've got Hermione is Leia, and then you've got Ron is Han Solo. There's just so many. Dumbledore is Obi-Wan.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, it's like, she was just writing, okay, I'll change this to somebody else. Change this to somebody else.
Quidditch is what? The racing, right? Anyway, I'm so glad you said that, because I've seen a couple of memes and I've gone, there's an element of truth here. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan, but I'll watch Harry Potter. I think they're great films, right? But I'm not a big fan. But when you look at the comparisons, it's like, J.K. Rowling, well played. Anyway, what about the story arcs? Do you think there's a similarity in the story arcs between the trilogy? Not so much the prequels that came out, but more so from kind of, the original 3 and then the sequels. Is there a story arc there where the writers have just been lazy, or do you think there's a deeper meaning? Ooh, check that out.
I think honestly, the last film, I think there was so much pressure from the toxic fans that they had to reel in. I don't think I really don't want. I didn't like the. I didn't like Palpatine coming back. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's like trying to. They were just trying to please the old guard, those old fans. They were trying to
It
please
didn't
them.
serve it. There was no need for Palpatine to come back, right? Anyway, there
Yeah,
was no need.
there's no need. So I really think the first two of the last trilogy was I liked it a lot. Uh, so uh, it was the first the Force Awakens was refreshing. That
Yes.
again, it was a bridge for new fans and the old fans. So it was really something refreshing. And then I like the second film. It's like turning it totally around and being, there's a lot of comedic timing in there that I really like, especially when the last thing that you saw was the lightsaber being handed over on the next film. He got it and he threw it at his back. I threw it away. Right? It's like I think that was great. That was great. So I really think that they did. I like the first two parts, but when it came to the third one, I think it was. I'll rate it that the first two will be really good, and like the third one was trying to please everybody, in which
Yeah,
really the storytelling really suffered. So
yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I think you're right. The third one, the final one, they just tried to please everybody, right? And unfortunately, ended up pleasing. Don't get me wrong; it was still a decent watch, but I think
Mm-hmm.
the bar had been set for the first two in terms of kind of the storytelling, the acting, and what have you. I think it was great. What about the cartoons? The Rebels and the Clone Wars. What about those? Are you a fan of those?
I, the Clone Wars. Yes, I did watch it. Yeah, it's because you will be able to see there. So if anybody who's watching this or listening to this, you'll be able to get deeper into the characters that are in the film that did have major roles but were there
Yeah.
and had you won't miss them and you identify them, that this character and that character, what did he do, or why is he always in that scene. If you're going to watch the animation, you will be able to see how important those characters are, uh, and what are the things, what is their backstory, and how it affected, like the rebellion or the strategies or the tactics of the rebels or the empire. So yes, I don't want to give anything away, but that's why I want you to watch the film and then you dive into either the books or the animation because there's continuity there.
I agree. Question as a diehard Star Wars fan, and again, without giving too much away, do you think the Mandalorian finally gave Boba Fett the story he was earned? Because the way that he was killed off was very, very poor for a world class bounty hunter to be killed off the way he was.
Yeah.
I don't think he got the credit he deserved, right? Or he
Mhm.
didn't get the strong say the credit, the story. Do you think the Mandalorian has been able to kind of pivot a little bit more to say, look, this is because there's some great stuff coming out right on Disney Plus for Star Wars. There's the Bad Batch, there's the Boba
Mhm.
Fett story. Do you think that because of that, they're now being able to give Boba Fett the story that he should have got?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They because he's supposed to be the most. He's the baddest. Uh, what you call this bounty hunter in the galaxy, and the way he was just killed was. So having this backstory about him is definitely going to be fantastic. It's going to be interesting. Uh, you're going to see. I hope to see what I hope to see is the his skills in art, in the art of war. His,
Mm,
you know how he has his praise victims or targets or those things. So that's one thing that I really wanted to see and watch.
excellent. So, cool, man. We're coming to the end of this live stream, and I look forward to this every week. It's just it's a pleasure to be able to spend time with you because you're a good friend, and also B, we have so many common interests when it comes to the geeky side of things, right, or the nerdy side of things that I can't necessarily share with my cool friends because they'll just laugh at me. And I'm not cool, far from it, right? But to be able to have these conversations is great, and I love it. I really love it. So, I guess I had two questions for you. If there was somebody out there that has not even ventured into Star Wars and don't even know anything about it, where's your jump off point? Where do you start? And then for next week, what's the topics or what's the topic of discussion for next week, my friend? It's all
Okay.
yours.
For this, I'll answer the first question is watch the films from episode 1 until to the last one, and then
Okay.
dive into the books, because the story about Leia, and how her formative years and how she became this rebellious, because she was really rebellious. I don't want to give away in the book, but she was already rebellious there. Okay, just keep it there. All right. So read there, and definitely if you want to go and find out more about the different characters that you saw in the film, you watch the animation. And so
Cool.
you won't you will thank us that you were able to watch this or get into Star Wars. Now, for the second question, what we're going to talk about is the crazy Funko Pop, like this one. I
Yeah.
have tons of friends. Well, I have a friend that has a wall of this in her room. I have friends that are really crazy, and so we probably try to have somebody here that are experts, because I do have a few of these, but I'm no expert on it. So we'll have
Excellent.
somebody to discuss it with us and probably get us into it.
Lovely. So yeah. So
Yeah.
if there's any, what's it called again? What is it?
Funko
What are they
Pops.
called? Okay.
They're
So if
Funko
there's
Pops.
any, there we go. Look at that. If there's any experts out there, please get in touch with us. We'd love to have you on the show next week. And it's 5 p.m. Manila. So the clocks change this weekend, UK and US. So I think 5 p.m. Manila will be 10 a.m. UK from next week. So if there's anybody out there that wants to join us, please do get in touch with Jet and myself across Facebook. You can find us on our social media platforms. But yeah, please get in touch, and we're great to have you on. Jet, last 30 seconds of the live stream, mate. What do you want to say, my friend?
Read books, explore fantasy, explore sci-fi, open your mind. You're not going to regret it.
Lovely. Jet, it's always a pleasure, mate. I'll speak to you next week. Audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Please let us know if you've got any questions. We'd love to have you. Any questions, and if you ever want to join the show, get in touch, and we'd love to have you on. Cool. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Yay. Take care.
Take care.